The first shot weighs heavy. Kody Brown stands before the desert wind, eyes empty, chest pumping up and down as if he's already run a marathon prior to the day's events. Special forces flash on the screen, but this isn't a mission. It's about staying alive. The kind that can't be trained for. The kind that happens when the camera's in your face and there's no place to hide. Kody has been the man of answers, the father, the voice of authority for years. But here on this desolate track in the midst of strangers and emptiness, that facade begins to erode. The bluster that so long kept his family intact now rings hollow in an empty hall. He's trembling before the first exercise even begins. The instructors shout commands and he winces. It's not fear, not of them anyway. It's the fear of being caught bare of the armor, the fear of finding out that control can only occur when individuals choose to give it to you. The mud clings to his boots, the wind smarts in his eyes, and he begins to perspire not from fatigue, but from the knowledge that all that anger he's ever put into constructing his identity won't serve him now. There is no crowd, no Robyn to comfort him, no camera team poised to stage the moment as courage. Just raw reality of a man whose leadership is not carried out in practice. He attempts to rally the others, yelling out instructions, employing that very booming voice which once held sway in the Brown home. But no one pays attention. No one requires a patriarch here. They merely require a team player, and this is something Kody does not know how to be. He snaps at one of the recruits, shouting too loud, too fast, like he's trying to convince himself that he still matters. The instructor cuts him down in a single sentence. You're not in charge here. It's not just an order. It's a revelation. For the first time in decades, Kody's words don't land. They dissolve. The control slips through his fingers like sand. Later, he's sitting by himself on the ground, dirt on his face, gasping. The confidence mask dissolves into something primal. He looks at his reflection in a puddle, and for an instant, it's not the Kody everybody recognizes. It's a man struggling to recall who he was before he made his family a hierarchy. The instructors inquire as to why he's there. He claims he's attempting to push himself. But the truth appears in his eyes. He's here because all he created outside these walls already collapsed. And perhaps he's hoping pain will restore purpose to him. When darkness descends, the fire crackles in front of his face, and he's met with silence, the type which does not soothe but accuses. He's gazing into the fire, and you can almost hear him thinking by the way the flames crackle. Every decision, every fight, every wife that walked away because of not the rules, but how tiny those rules reduced them to. He clenches the earth as if it could hold him. But the reality is he's lost at sea. This is not a test of power. It's a test of integrity. And Kody has shunned honesty for years. The instructors yell for one more round before dawn. Kody doesn't budge at first. His body rigid, his pride heavier than the pack on his back. Then he stands, slow, measured, and stumbles into the darkness. He's not ready to give up, not yet. But as the gusts blow stronger and the camera zooms in close, you can see it in his eyes. The agony he couldn't keep hidden isn't from the drills. It's from the ghosts of all his choices that led him here. He glances up, panting, and for a split second, he is not Kody Brown, the reality television star, or the polygamous father. He is simply a man discovering that power does not equate strength. Confronting yourself does. And for the very first time in his life, he may just have to. The morning comes harder than usual. The wind blows colder, the work more taxing, and Kody appears to be a man whose mind didn't sleep. He is silent now. The voice that fills all the spaces has fallen quiet. There is something queasy about that quiet, like seeing a storm after it has already destroyed everything. The instructors notice it as well. They push harder, not because they're cruel, but to find out what's left of him once the act runs out. They instruct the group to take a heavy log across a long, bumpy distance. It's not impossible, but it demands trust, coordination, patience. Things Kody lost somewhere between pride and paranoia. He takes control out of habit, shouting orders that no one heeds. A younger recruit interrupts, his voice steady but insistent. Let's do it together. Kody's jaw clenches. He pauses, then nods as if it's his suggestion. But the second he moves into position, his body turns on him. His strength is there, but it's scattered, as if all the years his family has been held together by his sheer willpower have at last taken their toll. The camera lingers on his hands, shaking slightly, holding the log too tightly. Each step appears to be a struggle between who he used to be and who he is now. When the group picks up their pace, he lags behind, gasping for air, mud spraying his face. He screams at them to pick their pace up. No one does. The group continues on, and for the first time, he's behind, he's not in charge, he's following. That's the crack he can no longer conceal. The control losing, the authority lost. He hesitates halfway, panting for air, eyes bulging and glassy. The instructors yell at him to continue, but he remains frozen, gazing into the distance as if hearing the echoes of another existence. You can almost picture what is going on inside his head. The nights he told Christine she wasn't loyal enough. The fights with Janelle over autonomy, how Mary whispered away into nothingness because she was so sick of attempting to be heard. And Robyn, the one who remained, even she can't protect him from the reality that's coming back to him now. The reality that perhaps leadership wasn't what shattered him. Perhaps it was never realizing that to lead is to listen, not to command. He finally takes another step, slower. He does not yell. He does not command. He simply shifts his weight, literally and metaphorically, one step at a time. The instructors see the change. One of them walks alongside him, soft voice, not screaming. You sound like a man who's been battling something longer than he ought. Kody smiles softly, the sort of smile that's nearer to hurting than laughing. You might say that. Later, when they're debriefing, another recruit mentions teamwork and vulnerability. Kody stares at the ground. His lips twitch like he wants to argue, but he doesn't. He's too tired to keep defending the version of himself that always needs to be right. When he finally speaks, his voice cracks just slightly. I'm used to being the one holding everything together. The instructor doesn't interrupt. He lets the silence answer for him, and that's when it registers with Kody. The silence does not equal weakness. It equals space. Space where truth can exist. He glances up, and for the first time, there is no script, no agenda, no evasiveness. Only tiredness and perhaps a glimmer of clarity. He's seeing that the hurt he's been lugging around isn't from losing his wives, or the show, or even his reputation. It's from losing himself in the character that he believed he had to assume. The camera holds on his face, the dirt, the sweat, the doubt. You can see he's beginning to realize it. The breakdown wasn't an overnight thing. It took years. Each second of pride, each battle he never backed down from, each decision that was control but was actually fear. They all brought him here. To this field. To this burden. To this lesson he never wished for but likely always required. And when the scene cuts back, he's not shouting anymore. He's just breathing, slow, trembling, real. For the first time, it seems like he's not trying to prove something. He's trying to learn something. The agony he couldn't keep hidden isn't killing him anymore. It's instructing him. But the question looming over him as the screen fades is this. Will Kody Brown really learn from the truth, or will he flee from it once more when the cameras are off? The third day starts like a repeat of the first. Same gray light, same dust on his boots, same silence between breaths. But something in Kody has changed. It's tiny, barely perceptible, but it's there. The stance is different. Less rebellious, more rooted. The others can sense it too. He's quieter during breakfast, avoiding eye contact, consumed by a thought that's finally too weighty to resist. The instructors know that look. It's the face of someone who's stopped wrestling with the world and started wrestling with himself. They throw one last test at them, a solo endurance run with a mental task at the end. The kind of challenge that exposes whatever armor you've got left. Kody starts hard, the way he has always done, straining with that same stubborn flame that once had people thinking he could outrun everything. But the race is long, bumpy, and unforgiving. Midway through, his body begins to fail. The pace slows down. Breathing becomes labored. There is no one to curse, no one to scold. Just him and the burden of all that he's been carrying too long. The camera lingers behind, holding him against the horizon. Tiny, mortal, solitary. His fingers scrape his knees as he stoops down, struggling to get air. And that's when it strikes. The facade of toughness, the guy who constructed a career on being invincible, fractures not in a yell, not in a grand collapse, but in a moment of quiet truth. He mutters something to himself. The mic catches it barely. I don't know who I am without the fight. It isn't a revelation. It's a discovery. He continues on. Step after step, slower but more sure. All the movements seem like surrender, but not the kind that is weak, the kind that accepts. When he reaches the last checkpoint, the sun is low and the light on his face makes him appear older, gentler. The instructors inquire as to how he feels. He pauses, swallows, and states, "Empty, but perhaps that's a beginning." The line seems to hang in the air like a prayer. It's not victorious. It's real. Later, at camp, the others are speaking in hushed tones, some giggling, some bandaging cuts. Kody sits alone, gazing at the fire once more. But this time, the fire is not condemnation. It's consideration. The agony isn't absent. It's simply now his, not a tool, not a spectacle. He no longer flees from it. He sits with it. That's the difference. The teacher who's been observing him comes over and sits down beside him. "You believe you'll return to the person you used to be?" Kody's head shakes. "I don't know if I can." There's no venom to his tone, only acceptance, the kind that's both peace and grief all at once. When the scene fades to black, the final shot is of his face. The music winds down, the screen goes dark, and for the first time in years, the man who lived his life through control seems to be finally learning to let go. And then, as the credits are about to start rolling, there is one last look into the camera. His face sets just a little bit harder. The old spark flares. And in that fraction of a second, you know the truth. Transformation is not always a promise. The fire has died down. Embers only now, tiny glowing fragments of what once was. Kody remains motionless, the crackling little more than his breathing. The others have fallen silent. The camp hangs in a state of suspended animation. He gazes at the earth as if searching for something he buried a long time ago. The man he believed he was, perhaps. The man who never had to seek forgiveness. He scoops up some dirt, allows it to trickle between his fingers. For an instant, his expression relaxes. There is fatigue, certainly, but a sort of delicate tranquility, too. The storm seems to be passing, and then, as the final speck of dirt falls, he sees his name. A voice, low, hard, irrevocable. "Brown, prepare yourselves. Tomorrow's final phase." He gazes upward. The camera captures his eyes, and that flash again. Not acceptance as peace. That flash of something else. That earlier Kody, the fighter, the rebel, the one who won't give up, fighting his way back in through the cracks. His lips compress. The jaw clenches. He nods once. The shot lingers a beat too long. The firelight dances across his face. Half shadow, half fire. It's the face of a man caught between redemption and slide, between truth and manipulation, between peace and struggle. The screen goes black. Then, in darkness, just one line. "Tomorrow everything breaks." Cut. End of part 3.